There are moments that define a tournament before a single trophy gets lifted, and one Australian creator just captured one that's going absolutely viral. Dan McNamara flew to Miami for the 2026 World Cup, expecting the usual fan experience, packed stadiums, street celebrations, maybe some decent American barbecue if he was lucky. What he didn't expect was a total stranger walking up to him in a bar and saying, "Hey, I've got a boat. Want to come out tomorrow morning? I'll show you around Miami. We'll grab breakfast on the water." No mutual friends, no business pitch, no tourism angle, just pure, spontaneous hospitality from someone who heard his accent, found out he was visiting for the Cup, and decided to make his trip unforgettable. McNamara posted the whole experience in a reel that's now sitting at millions of views, and the comment section reads like a masterclass in cultural surprise. "I genuinely didn't think this happened in real life," he wrote. "I'd heard about American hospitality, but I thought it was exaggerated. Spoiler, it wasn't. Let's break down why this one gesture is becoming the emotional centerpiece of the entire 2026 fan experience and what it says about this tournament that no amount of FIFA marketing could manufacture. The setup is almost too perfect. McNamara's in Miami for a few days, catching group stage matches, soaking in the atmosphere. He's at a sports bar near the stadium when a local guy strikes up conversation. The usual stuff. Where are you from? Who are you rooting for? How long are you in town? Then comes the offer. I'm taking my boat out tomorrow morning. You should come. I'll show you Biscayne Bay. We'll grab bagels, talk some soccer. McNamara's first instinct? Polite skepticism. This is the kind of thing people say after a couple beers and never follow through on. But the guy hands him a phone number, tells him to text in the morning, and it actually means it. Sure enough, next day at sunrise, McNamara's on a private boat, cruising past the Miami skyline with someone he met 12 hours earlier. There's breakfast, there's conversation about the Socceroos' chances, about American soccer culture, about what Miami's like when it's not hosting the world's biggest sporting event. No agenda, no upsell, just a local who wanted to share his city with a visitor who came halfway around the world for a tournament. McNamara filmed bits of it, the boat cutting through turquoise water, the downtown skyline glowing in morning light, the casual ease of two strangers talking soccer like old friends. He posted it with a caption that's resonating far beyond soccer fans. "This is the most American thing that's ever happened to me," and the internet collectively lost it. The comments are a mix of Australians saying, "Yeah, this tracks," Americans saying, "Welcome to how we do it," and Europeans expressing genuine confusion that this level of spontaneous generosity exists. One commenter from Germany wrote, "If a stranger invited me on a boat in Berlin, I would assume I was being kidnapped." Another from the UK, "Mate, in England, you don't even make eye contact on the tube. This is wild." But here's why this story matters. Beyond the feel-good viral moment, every World Cup has a narrative that emerges organically from the fan experience, but something that transcends the matches and becomes the cultural story of the tournament. In 2018, it was the Iceland chant. In 2022, it was the Morocco underdog run and the Arab world's emotional connection. For 2026, it's looking like the story is hospitality itself. Specifically, the culture shock international fans are experiencing as they realize American openness and generosity isn't a stereotype or a movie trope. It's real, it's pervasive, and it's catching people completely off guard. We've already seen waves of this, Japanese fans talking about strangers buying them drinks, Argentinians posting about tailgate invitations, Europeans stunned that Americans will strike up genuine conversation in line at Starbucks. But McNamara's boat story crystallizes it into one perfect, undeniable, deeply personal moment. It's also a sharp contrast to the pre-tournament narrative. Remember 6 months ago? The discourse was all concern. American crowds don't know the game. The atmosphere will be sterile. It's too spread out. Fans will feel isolated. The corporate vibe will kill the soul of the tournament. None of that is playing out. Instead, what's happening is international fans are walking away with stories like this, moments they'll tell for years, not because of a goal or a result, but because a stranger in Florida decided to be spontaneously kind. And it's not just Miami. This pattern is repeating across all 11 host cities. Fans in Seattle posting about locals giving them camping gear for free. Visitors in Kansas City invited to backyard barbecues with zero notice. A group from Morocco in Houston getting walked through Tex-Mex by a family who just wanted to make sure they tried the real stuff. There's something culturally specific happening here that's hard to quantify but impossible to miss. Americans treat big events as communal celebrations, and strangers at those events aren't outsiders. They're guests who just haven't been welcomed yet. McNamara's reel is the distilled essence of that. One boat, one sunrise, one gesture that required zero fanfare and expected nothing in return. The Miami stranger didn't ask for credit. He didn't pose for photos. He didn't try to monetize the moment or turn it into content. He just did a kind thing because he could. And McNamara, to his credit, is framing it exactly right, not as some mythical American exceptionalism, but as a genuine cultural difference that he wasn't prepared for and deeply appreciated. The video ends with them docking back at the marina, shaking hands, exchanging Instagrams. McNamara walks away with a story. The Miami guy goes about his day, and the internet gets a reminder that sometimes the best moments of a World Cup have nothing to do with the scoreboard. This is already becoming one of the defining images of the tournament, not a goal celebration or a packed stadium, but an Australian guy on a boat in Miami grinning like he just discovered something he didn't know existed. Because in a way, he did. The 2026 World Cup isn't even halfway through group stages, and the hospitality narrative is already writing itself. This isn't FIFA's doing. It's not a marketing campaign. It's just what happens when you host a global event in a culture that treats strangers like future friends and sees big moments as opportunities to share, not gatekeep. McNamara flew to Miami for soccer. He's leaving with something bigger, a story that no ticket, no jersey, no souvenir could ever replicate. And judging by the millions of views, the thousands of comments, and the wave of similar stories flooding social media every single day, he's not the only one.